Okay, ladies, the first thing I'm going to have to ask you to do is please take a seat. You might have to sit on someone's lap. Might be a little uncomfortable. I'm also going to have to ask you to please silence your cell phones and put on your mask. And please stay at least 6 feet away from your nearest neighbor in this new thing we like to call social distancing. Ladies, please give her a warm welcome. She needs no further introduction, especially because there is no one here to introduce her. It's Laura Berger. Thank you. I have taken off my mask because I am 6 feet away from all of you. Rest assured that I wear my mask at all times when I'm in public places. How's my lighting? Am I good? Can you hear me? I don't have a mic. I'm going to speak up so you in the back can hear me. I did not spend a lot of time outside of my own home in 2020, perhaps like most of you. It was quite a year of reflection. It gave me time to think about really important things in life. So let's talk about COVID since we're on the subject. Obviously, a national, international, global pandemic is nothing to joke about. But as with all things in life, there is some humor to be had. There are observations to make. For instance, I went to my eye doctor. He gave me a prescription for glasses. I went to get the glasses made. I was looking at the frames, and the young lady that was working with me, when I put a pair on, she said, "Oh, those match your mask." And I'm thinking, oh golly, is that the new criteria for coordinating our look? Does our eyewear need to match our mask wear? Oh well. It's our ability to accessorize that separates us from the animals, I always say. But I do want to tell you the funniest story I think that came out of the COVID year. Jeannie, my sister, was shopping at a dollar store in Fort Wayne. She was at the checkout, 6 feet apart from the next customer. So she had time to sort of observe what was going on. And she saw a man looking at a display. She saw him take something and pocket it, and then sort of meander around the store a little bit before casually leaving the building. So she got up to the register and said to the clerk, "I think someone just shoplifted something from the store." And the clerk said, "Well, how would we recognize this person?" She said, "Well, he wasn't wearing a mask." Does that sum up 2020 or what? The one person, the thief, who would possibly normally be wearing a mask, was not wearing a mask. The other funny, not funny thing of 2020 was, and you may remember this, or you may not have known this, but they named a hurricane after me. Yes, Hurricane Laura was a thing in 2020. And I have a mutual friend named Laura, and we were kind of joking about it on Facebook. And the quotes that the news people would say were very amusing to us. And my personal favorite was, by 4:30, the backside of Laura was upon us. Come on, that was funny. So let's talk about the time we spent at home in 2020. And there was a lot of people joking about not wearing pants. I must say I never stopped wearing pants. But I did gain some weight, as many of us did, because the fridge was right there, the cupboards were right there. I'm wondering if I'm the only one who's done this. Have you done this? You weigh yourself, then you take a shower, then you weigh yourself again, hoping maybe that dirt on my body was really, really heavy. And then let's talk about sizing. OSFA. Do you know what this is, ladies? Can you see me? How's the lighting? OSFA. Raise your hand. What's it stand for? One size fits all. Biggest lie in all of merchandising. One size fits all. I gotta hand it to the people that have changed it slightly to OSFM. One size fits most. I'm still the one that is not among the all or the most. And I recently started noticing there's actually a size before 1X, 2X, 3X, that's OX. I'm thinking it was a man who decided that OX, ox, was a good size label. Because I don't feel bad enough as it is about being overweight. I want to be wearing a shirt that says I'm an ox. Thank you very much. So I have done some weight loss programs over the years, ineffectually. And I won't name them because I don't want to give anyone a good or a bad name. But I was in one that involved certain of their food products, but mostly teaching you how to eat better with regular grocery items. And I will never forget this, and I think of it every time I'm in the produce department. The lady there, she held up a bag of radishes and talked about, it wasn't really a point system, but she said, I realized I could eat an entire bag of radishes. That is clearly my problem. Never in my life will I be excited about eating a bag of radishes. Had she held up a bag of M&Ms, I could have related. But I'll never forget how excited she was that she could eat that whole bag of radishes. And speaking of M&Ms, because we were, there's what you call a segue. Let's talk about the 5-second rule. Who obeys the 5-second rule? I do. But it is dependent upon the item that has been dropped on the floor. If it is an M&M, another piece of candy, or the like, 5 seconds is just the starting place. That thing could be there 5 minutes and I'm still going to eat it. However, if I drop a green bean, then the 5-second rule is played out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh shoot, it's after 5 seconds. I cannot possibly eat that green bean that has fallen on the floor. And I'm wondering if the 5-second rule still applies if it takes me now longer than 5 seconds to actually reach over. Oh wait, let me do it like the golfers do. You hike up your little pant and you reach over and pick up the item, and it has now taken more than 5 seconds. Does that invalidate the 5-second rule? I don't know. I'm putting it to you. I've spent a lot of time alone last year. I don't have anyone to bounce these ideas off in 2020 when I'm quarantined in my house, day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute. It didn't affect me at all. I do make a grocery list. I do it on my phone. If Find a recipe I want to try, I might jot it down. I use abbreviations though. So if anyone's looking at my list, they're probably going to wonder why I wanted a butt squash recipe. Maybe, maybe not. Let's talk about other things, just general life things, things you may have thought of, things you may not have thought of. For instance, par exemple, as the French would say. Have you noticed that whenever you call almost any business, you do not get a live person, you get a recording? And I could go on and on about how irritating it is that you sometimes 2-3 minutes before you go through all the prompts and finally get maybe to where you're trying to go. But I've realized why that is, why they don't have time to answer the phone. Because every time you call now, the first thing you hear is, "Please listen carefully as our menu options have changed." Well, no wonder they don't have time to answer the phone. They're busy changing the menu options every stinking time. Speaking of technology, who uses Messenger? Anyone? Yes, yes. Do you feel the same way that I do about that when you're messaging someone and what's down there right by the send button? The stupid thumbs up. How many times have I inadvertently hit the thumbs up at usually the most inappropriate times? Someone messages me, "Please pray for my aunt, she has COVID." Thumbs up! And I don't know, hopefully I'm not the only one who's experienced this, or this won't be funny at all. It might not anyway. The place where I bank, which shall remain nameless, when I drive up to the ATM, let's do it this way so you can see me. I drive up to the ATM, there it is. I put in the first thing it wants me to do is put in my passcode. Does yours do this? It has a graphic of a person's hand coming up like this to hide the fact that they're putting in their passcode. I'm sorry, that amuses me every time because I'm thinking, who's gonna be looking at your passcode? You're at a drive-up ATM. They are giving a lot of credit for the vision capabilities of the person in the car behind you. And yet, when you're at a checkout and there's someone right behind you, although of course now they're not right behind you, they're 6 feet behind you. There's your code, plain as day. Although a lot of them have the little guidey things on the thing now, and you gotta try to tilt it the right way and get your hand in there. So oh, I almost said my code. And then you have to sanitize your hands, of course, because you have now touched something that is shared in a public place. I didn't work up a lot of material because I didn't have time. I didn't have time. I wasn't home enough last year to work on new material. Oh. I'm serious. Well, ladies, I want to thank you for joining me virtually. I know you have a choice in the things you watch and listen to. If you didn't press stop or pause 5 or 10 minutes ago, I'd like to thank you for being with me this evening. And I would now like to turn it over to, boy, I miss Praise Amplified, don't you? You don't want me singing. It's an unusual year, but we will get through these times as we have been doing, and we can be together in our hearts. Giving you love. See you next year in January.